Alright, hi everyone, and welcome back to another Hoya cross-edge tips video. Today I've got a really cool tip for you for dealing with an otherwise really nasty case, and that's cases like this, where you've got various flipped edges that look like edge parity. So I'll start with 5x5. As you can see, we've got all our cross edges solved, apart from this one, where we have our two wings in the same orientation, in the same slot, and the midge between them, but it's flipped. Now you might think that this is not a very nice case, because it looks like edge parity, which is a really not nice algorithm. However, for cross edges, we can take advantage of these unsolved centers and solve this in just 5 moves. So what we want to do is we want to have firstly our midge oriented, or our wings misoriented, and then what we want to do is we want to put these in the back like this in the U layer. So now what we can do is R wide, U2, R wide 2, F2, R wide. Now, because this case is symmetrical, as you can see, then it also works with lefty, so you can do it like this. And the reason I'm showing you that, because if you think about it lefty, then what you can actually think about it as is just a setup to the 3R wide U2 3R wide prime trigger, which I am a big fan of. So what you're doing effectively is you can imagine we're putting this wing down here to solve it first. In the process, that will keep this wing exactly where it is in the back, and it will move this midge to the front here. So just like that, and then cancel into that trigger. That's another way you can think about it. So if you have the pieces like this in UF, then you can just do a U2 to set up to the case, because as we've seen before, our midge is oriented, which is what we want. However, if you have this, and this time it's the wings that are oriented and the midge is misoriented, then all you can do is a similar idea. This time we can do an F, because we have nothing solved here, and then we can set it up to the back with R, U prime, R prime. And now we're in position to do the alg. Now, if it's not your last cross edge, then you've got a lot more freedom to set up to where you need it to be. So if we take this, for example, we've got, as before, we've got our wings oriented, and this time we have no cross edges solved. So to set it up to the back, all we need to do in this case is L prime, B prime, just like that. Another thing you might come across is this, where this time the pieces are all in the DF slot, but as you can see, only the midge is solved, the two wings are swapped. So what we can do in this case, because we want the midge to be oriented, and it is currently, we can do an F2 and then a U2 to set it up to the back, just like that. Alternatively, the inverse of that solution also works exactly the same. So this time we can start with our pieces just down here, and we can do R wide prime, F2, R wide 2, U2, R wide prime. And now the solved pieces are in the back, and then we can do U2, F2 to insert, or we could do something like U, D, R2, D prime, if you prefer. And then for this case, where we've got the same thing but the other way, so we've got the two wings are solved, and this time the midge is flipped, instead of taking it out with M slices and then reinserting it, which uses quite a lot of moves and is very easy to mess up. Instead, what you can do is just an F prime, and then R, U prime, R prime, set it up to the back, and do the case as before. Now this works exactly the same on 6x6, provided your two inner wings are paired together, because when they are, then they act as basically just another midge. So if you happen to have this, then you can just do exactly the same thing. It works just the same. But my favorite application of this is on 7x7, because once again we have midges, but we also have two sets of wings. And this case is obviously very rare, but on the off chance it does come up, or you make a mistake and you end up with a case like this, then instead of using tons and tons of slice moves, there are really nice ways to deal with this. So if you do get this case, the first thing you want to do is solve the inner wings relative to the midge. And if you recognize, if you look at just these three pieces here, then it does look awfully similar to this case, which I've shown you on 5x5. Now, on 5x5, one way you can do this, as I've already shown you, is to do the inverse of the case where you've got the three pieces here. And that alg goes R wide prime, F2, R wide 2, U2, R wide prime, like that, and it puts the pieces up here. So applying that to 7x7, we can first just tackle these three inner pieces, and we can do 3R wide prime, F2, 3R wide 2, U2, 3R wide prime. And that obviously puts these in the back. But what it also does, because these two outer wings are still flipped, it sets us up perfectly to the main case, which we can just do with R wide, U2, R wide 2, F2, R wide, just like before. So that's a really, really nice way of solving that case with inner parity in just 10 moves on a 7x7. My last point about this case is that it is very important that you learn how to do double flicks with both hands. Because as you may have noticed when I'm executing this, obviously our first move is an R wide, and then our second move is a U2, which I did with my left hand. And then we have the R wide 2, and then an F2, which I did with my right hand. And then the final R wide move. Now for flow, then it's very important that you learn to do U2 flicks with both your left hand and with your right hand, because these will come in very useful. And as you can see, doing it like that is really, really fast. So if you can't do U2 flicks with both hands, then I definitely advise you to learn this so that you can make the most of this trick. So there you go, that's about it. There isn't too much other than that on this trick, as it is quite a rare case, but it does still come up from time to time. And on the off chance that you solve an edge incorrectly or you get unlucky, then this is a really, really quick and easy way to fix it. So I hope this helped, and thanks a lot for watching.